Welcome to chapter 4. This project will have no quiz, but I think you should definitely do this hands-on because it's such an important project. And one thing about IT support is that when you're working in a company, they will have some sort of backup and recovery setup. And that could be many different softwares and solutions, but backup and recovery is like everyday thing. Imagine how many people are working on documentations. Files are getting encrypted these days and things are happening. So you just need to know how backup and recovery works. So I assume you spent 23 minutes on this video and you tried your best to understand what the instructor is teaching over here. It's a lot of theoretical knowledge, but you need to understand this. So go ahead and learn about backups, incremental backups and everything. Now again, in this project, we're going to be using Sandbox. Sandbox does not come with any support, so please do not send any messages about learning, like why is this specific thing not working when I'm doing project. It will not be supported. These are Sandbox. We're trying to help you as much as we can, but it does not come with any support. So if you watch the video fully, you should have no issues, because if you're watching the video, you're using the same lab as I am using, and you should have absolutely no issues. So please do not send a message to the chat or the practice lab support. All right, so let's get started. So what do you need to do? The first thing, let's go back to your portal. So I'm gonna go ahead and go back to the portal. We don't need this video anymore, so let's go back. We're going to click on practice labs and let's open your Sandbox. So we're gonna come down here, we're gonna look for again 2019, and we're gonna use the Sandbox practice labs, and we're going to launch the lab. And we're going to go ahead and launch the lab. And while this is launching, let's talk about some important information that we can talk about. So in any company, when you work as an IT support professional, let's say this is a company, and this company have these are their systems, servers. They may have different type of document saving for users that they're accessing through cloud or through local servers. So whatever they have, they're going to be doing backup. So the system that we are going to set up, it's not done by an IT support. Like, you don't set it up. This is going to be a systems administrator, just like any other things that you have been learning, like Active Directory or things like that. Usually it's set up by a person who have more experience, and those are systems engineers, administrators, or network engineers, whatever they have, but they will be more advanced people in IT, and you will be supporting the system. So they will set it up for this company to use the backup systems through a browser these days, which is a very common practice. So either in the company you will have a computer, you can go through the browser and try to restore the data, or if it's cloud, you can be anywhere in the world and use the cloud systems and restore the data for that user. If they, let's say, something happened to a system or something happened to a file, then you can restore it from browser. But the setup is not done by a support professional, so you don't have to really worry about what I'm going to show you. You can just practice. And again, you're only going to go into a company and they will tell you how to do their own restore, backups, everything. Most likely 90% of the time, company will teach you this stuff. But if you know this stuff already, if you have done practice, then one, you have confidence. Second, you can talk about that in your interview. You can put it on your resume, and that's cool. You got a product on your resume. It makes you look more experienced in front of a person who doesn't have anything like this and just have certifications or just college degree. So let's go ahead and get started. So what do you do first? The first thing, you open up your lab and you turn on the machines that I'm going to show you what we're going to use. So we're going to use a DC practice lab domain controller. We're just going to use it because it needs to be connected. So we need to turn on our Windows 10 machine. So remember from previous projects, you now know that this is connected to this domain controller. We're not going to do a lot about Active Directory or anything. And we're going to turn on this machine as well. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and turn on this machine. So we got two machines. So what are we going to do over here? Our goal is to create a backup system and then test it and practice it with a client machine. So in our case, basically, this is going to be the backup server. We're just going to call it a backup server. Just assume this is a server that we are going to use for setting our backup system. So this is someone who's a systems engineer. He's going to try everything to make it work. And then this is going to be the client machine. This is the one that we're going to use it as a client. So we're going to log in as a user, create some documentation, and then we're going to delete it or make something to it, encrypt it, make an error out of it, and then you're going to complain that I need to get my document. So through our project, we're going to get that document from the server. That's going to be the whole goal. So once you get the idea of this, then the rest is you just learn more. The more you learn about backup systems, incremental, all that kind of stuff, full backups, file backups, then of course things are going to make more sense to you because you have done that hands-on. So to get started, let's go to our backup server. So we need to first set up everything. So this is Windows 10 machine. Let's go to the Windows 10 machine and let's go ahead and scroll down here, and we're going to log into that as an administrator. You're going to click on the internet browser, Edge, which is Explorer here, and we're going to accept this agreement in this lab, and we're going to go to Google. We're going to say no thanks and type your backup. So we're using this because it's a very powerful open source software, and we're going to use this to learn some of the advanced things in backup systems. So we're going to go ahead and click on your backup. It's going to give you this message. We're going to say accept all. And then here, if you go down, you're going to see this download right here. So click on download. So remember, we're trying to put a system right now. So we're going to use a server because that's what we need to do. So we're going to go ahead and click on Windows. This is an application for, basically the application is saying I am the server. Even if it's on Windows 10, it doesn't matter because it says you can install it on Windows 10. So here we're going to click on the first link right here, server edition. And what's going to happen on the bottom is going to save that download. And once it's downloaded, we are going to then run it. So our server file is downloaded. We are going to go ahead and run it. And we're going to click OK here. Let's just minimize this. And we're going to click OK. Click Next. And of course, in this lab, we're going to use the same path. If you are going to do this in a professional environment, of course, this needs to be done by going to the application documentation and reading every single thing about how this needs to be properly done. But this project, we're going to keep everything simple. So we're going to click on install. So that's it, very quick installation. So we're going to go ahead and finish it. And now we're going to go ahead and click on start here and check for that folder where your backup is. Here you go. And this is where the interface for this. So it has a web browser interface, right? It can be accessible through web browser. So we're going to go ahead and click on it, and that's how new systems are done too. So as soon as you download it, so you see the first error that it's going to give you is that we have some issues going on over here. The first thing it says, there's no directory, accessible directory. So what do we do here? We need to create a directory where this server can access and store things. So let's make sure that this error is no longer showing. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go to C drive and go to this PC, go to C drive, and here we are going to type name your backup, and we're going to basically type your backup in here. And so where is this coming from? So if I go back to our system, you see in settings, this is where the web browser stuff is right here, like your backup. This is application, activities, backups. If once you do the backups, you can access it here. If there was any clients, it's going to show up right here, but the settings is right here. That's the most important part. So you see it's already given a path, but there was no folder before, so it couldn't find it, right? So now that we have created the folder, all we got to do is to basically just type like a space in here and then go back again, just like that, just to see if we can save some changes here on the bottom. So you click on the save right here, and when you go back now, go to your backup, you see that message is gone right now. So after that message is gone, you got a new message. So this is a message where this has to contact your, use your C drive, and because of the new system, it comes with a lot of protections and things like that. So this is why we are doing this in a lab environment, because you don't want to do this in real systems, because what if this causes some sort of security issue? So of course you don't want to mess with that. But since it's a lab environment, we really don't care. We want to learn the skill, so we need to remove this error too. So another thing for you as a new IT professional, try to read everything. What does it mean? How can you run these commands? So because this is a DOS command, we can open the CMD right here, and we're going to right click and go run it as administrator. So right now basically it's saying that we need to put this command to fix this error. So how do we do this? We're going to use this command sutil and then 8 dot. Actually we got to put space in there. 8 dot and then 3 name set c colon 1 space 1. So once you enter, it's going to say successfully disable 8 dot 3 name generation on C. So basically it's some sort of security, but of course if we do this and we refresh it, you see that error is gone now. So now you're fully ready. So this is the stuff that I'm talking about. You're not going to be doing this sort of things if you're working as an IT support and try to set up a whole system. This is what administrators do. They do all these things on a server level, and once everything is running, they're going to give it to you and you're going to follow the procedure. So now that everything is ready on the server level, we're going to go back to settings here, and these are the settings that's basically when you connect a client to a backup system, it's going to do these things on the bottom. It says do not do image backups. So it's not checked, so it's going to go ahead and do the image backups, right? Automatically shut down server. Nothing is done their way. So you see everything is by default okay for us. We're not going to change a lot of things, but if you started to learn more about backups, maybe you should come and spend some time more here to click on file backups to see how many times incremental file backups are done. So this is something you learned in the video, right? So now you're seeing it in a real system, how many times incremental will be back up and things like that. So you should spend some time and kind of look what this is about. Image backups right here, permissions, clients, you got these all different things going on over here. Don't spend too much time because of course it can go beyond your skill set and you may waste a lot of time just learning something that's not important to you at this point. So we need to connect a client because now server is ready. This is a server. This machine in our lab is a server and it needs clients for us to back up. So now we're going to go to Windows 10, another machine, and let's assume this is a user, and this user data is very important to us, and that could be for not a user, it could be for thousands of users in your company. So we are going to do the same steps. We're going to go back to internet and we're going to type Google right here. In the same way, we're going to type your backup. It's going to give you the same information. We're going to accept it. We're going to click on download, and this time what are you downloading? You're downloading a client. So we're going to use Windows. Because we're using Windows, we're going to use the first one, Server Edition. Even if it says Server Edition, that's fine because it's a client. It can run on Windows 10 as well. So now we have the client. Now client might take a little more time, so let's go down and we're going to just run it. It's going to start downloading it first. All right, so now that we are going to run the client, so we're going to go ahead and run this application. We're going to click next and agree and install. So again, remember when we connect this client, as soon as it gets connected, it's going to start looking for a server on your network, and it's going to be automatically doing the setup that we have defined over here inside for the client. So if we say that start taking images immediately when a client is connected, it's going to start doing that, and it's going to start taking backups. So if we come back right here, let's go back and see what we have. It says finish. We're going to go ahead and finish it. So you see it gives us some information when we install the client. So I can put a manually select a file backup. I can do the backup system volume recommended. I can do another things, but as soon as I finish this, it's going to start looking for a server. So right now it hasn't found any servers yet because it's not changed. The red means it's not doing anything at this point. It's just a client trying to look for a server. It's going to change after a few seconds because it's going around and looking for a server in your network. Is there any server out there that I can connect to? And if the server is available, it's going to say yes, connect to me because I'm already authorized. There you go. You see, changed. So it already picked on that server. The file backup is started, and that's how in real companies things work, because you push out these clients to thousands of computers and then they start doing what you want them to do. So right now in our server, if we go back, Here, if we click on activities, you see it already connected the client for us and is doing a full backup, file backup right now. So it's going out there, whatever is in the file backup that we have defined from the server level is going out there and it's just backing up users, documents, pictures. You can change all of this stuff. It tells you the speed right here. If you click on the logs, it's probably going to show you the logs as it happens right there. There you go. So it's very, very powerful to learn. So if I click on the backup right here, you see the file backup is showing right here. So if I click on that, now I can actually click on the latest backup like this, and it's C drive. And in C drive, users, recovery, document settings. So if I click on users, all the users data is backed up right now. So I can actually click on restore if I want to restore the whole application data folder, or I can dig more and try to restore specific file if you want to. If I can download it and send it to USB or maybe some other medium. And this is how backup systems work in most of the clients. So if I go back to the activity, to the status, sorry, it says that the file backup is okay. This means the file backup is already done, but it's still looking for the full image backup. Now, not every backup system will have an image backup unless company buy this or add some imaging to it. Sometimes images are done by IT support on the different softwares. They just keep the images somewhere else for troubleshooting, because imagine if you have 1,000 machines. You're not going to be taking images of 1,000 machines on daily basis or regular basis. That's not how we do things for just desktop or laptops. They keep a master image. If something happens, they keep a good amount of backups for files through cloud, OneDrive and things like that. But in some companies, they use software like this to back up their local servers and local images regularly. In case something gets encrypted or somebody hacks systems, they will be able to restore. So as we can see, after refreshing, the images also started. So it's going to basically take the full image of the C drive. So even if this whole computer crashes, if I have the capability, I can put a bootable CD and then restore the whole system back to whenever it was imaged. So if today I have important things done to this PC and I back it up, and tomorrow I come back and somebody crashes this PC, I can restore the whole operating system from this image backup. And it's telling you right now 31% is done. So of course we don't have the capability to show you that from restoring the whole image would be like you're going to some sort of virtual environment, running the ISO, download the system, the backup system. Like for example, if you were to do the recovery, you would basically use the download here. It says this right here. So you would use basically this restore image backups. So of course then you would need a full system where you can run the PC from the USB and then do it with the networking. We don't have that capability. We have a Hyper-V in this server, but that's not going to work because it doesn't have network. So forget about the imaging at this point. This is something you're going to learn from other labs in this whole course. So, but at this point, try to understand the backup and restore process, because that's what you do in most cases. That's what's going to happen. The images are done, like I said, you do that on a different machines and different devices, different software. You don't use networking for images in most cases. If you do, they're going to show you how they do their images. So let's do a scenario here. Let's go back to PLab Win 101, and what we are going to do right here, we're going to create a folder in the documents section. So we're going to go to documents, and here we're going to call this folder IMP, important IMP. Okay, and here we're going to create a file. So let's assume somebody call you today and they say, hey, I'm having some issues with this file, and if you delete it, can you get it from the backup? Well, if the backup has not ran yet, in most cases, a lot of people have specific timing to run backups, you won't be able to recover that file unless you do delete like this and it goes to recycle bin. You can go back to recycle bin and then restore it from the recycle bin. Then yes, that's if immediately somebody called you and they have not deleted it fully, so you could recover that. But sometimes people come after 5 days and they say, oh, I am missing this document, or I messed up, or I added new data to a specific document that I was not supposed to do. Can you recover it till yesterday? And you would have that backup then. So let's go ahead and run the backup. We're going to basically right click here, and we're going to do incremental file backup. We're just going to do that. Okay. So what's going to do, it's going to basically add those changes to this backup. So let's go back to the backup server, and you're going to click on backups here, refresh, and we're going to click on backup, click here. So now you see that our image is also backed up. This is the image. The cool part of the image is that you cannot restore everything from here directly. Like I said, you got to use the boot, but you could do another thing. You can click on C drive and you can mount the whole C drive. I mean, that's pretty amazing, right? When you click on mount, it's going to mount the whole image, and you can actually get data from that image if you want to, but you cannot restore it. So you got to go back to the backups, and let's go back, and let's do, it should have done the incremental backup though, maybe. All right, let's go back to the C user. The user is admin, and we're looking for documents, and there's no IMP folder yet, right? So I think the incremental probably didn't happen when we were doing the backup. Maybe we need to do this again, but let's go ahead and refresh one more time just to make sure that we're not missing anything. Oh, there you go. So you got to give it some time, right? I didn't have to go back and do it. I thought maybe it was doing the images, so maybe it didn't work, but yeah, it works. So look at this. You had the full backup of that first time when we did the backup of 382 MB. And when we did the incremental, it didn't back up everything again. It just added the new data. So if I go back here, you see it says C, and it's going to go to users, and it's going to keep that path. So we're going to go to admin, document, and IMPs right there. Okay, so now let's do something. Let's come over here for practice, and let's assume I am this user. I accidentally fully deleted this file, or something happened to the file, or whatever, encrypted, got attacked, whatever. Now the user call you and say, hey, I messed up my file. Can you back it up to the latest backup that we have? You're going to tell them, yeah, you know, we can only restore it till yesterday. And user will say, okay, that's fine with me, no problem, do that. So you're going to go back to your backup system. And this conversation is, by the way, super important to log, because you never want to restore a file for somebody and then they can come back on you and say, oh, why did you do it? I didn't supposed to do that. You really need to have that log ready, because data is everything for people, and they will mess you up if you don't take logs, because they will blame things on you then. Okay, so try to avoid that and make sure you have the data. Let the person say that in the email, yes, restore my file till yesterday, so you have that. So now we have this file, and you're going to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to go here and all right, we got this file right here, and I'm going to restore this. I'm going to go ahead and click on restore. So when you go back here, a user may get a message. In some systems they may not. You may just override it for them, but you can also tell a user that, hey, I'm trying to restore that file. Is that what you're looking for? Can you check your screen? Oh yeah, I'm looking for that. I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and boom, the file is right there. This is how cool user backup restoration through networking works. You have to do this sort of things on regular basis. Imagine how many people work on different documentation. They mess up all the time, and you as an IT professional will be working on this. So this was just an example. You can use your backup on your resume now. You can say that I have done a whole project on this. You can talk a lot about it. You can play around with this, and then use this for your resume. Use this for in your interview calls, and try to impress that person or the manager. And you can use this in a real environment if they allow you to do this. If you don't have something like this, you can ask them, can we look into this? But in a corporate environment, when things are paid, people will pay for softwares that are corporate level. They have services that will help, and they will teach you their own ways of doing things. But every single product works like this, right? It's just the screens are different, the clicks are different, but it's like same thing. in all companies. So go ahead and practice. There's no quiz for this project, but try to do this project. It's a very cool project. I think it's going to give you a lot of confidence. Thank you.